though. That's the thing. Are Nigerians comfortable with what is on ground? Are Nigerians comfortable with all the promises that are being made by this administration? When will these policies that they have promised us will actually benefit us begin to realize themselves? When will Nigerians begin to see the positive effect of these policies? I think that's the end product for any Nigerian. They don't know what the semantic is all about. They don't care what the modus operandi is as to how the federal government intends to apply all those policies. Their own is, can I go to bed and eat well? Can I buy bread? Can I buy staple foods? Can I send my children to school? Even if I do not have the money to send them to a proper educational system, informal education, I can afford it, isn't it? So basic medical care, can I be able to take care of my kids? Can I take them to the health center? Can I afford to give birth? These are basically what the common man is all interested in. So when will that aspect trickle down, where we'll begin to feel the effect? Because as it stands now, it's really unbearable. All right, but hey, it's important for us to educate ourselves so we know what's ongoing. The tax reform bill is still on for debate in the House of Representatives, but it has been suspended indefinitely. The debate on the tax reform bills was earlier scheduled for Tuesday, which is tomorrow, but there is an indefinite suspension on that. Now, apparently, the development is following mounting pressure from the 19 northern state governors for the bills to be discarded. The planned debate was called off in a memo which was signed by the clerk of the House of Representatives, Dr. Yahaya Danzaria, as 73 northern lawmakers kicked against the bills. Those who rejected the bills include 48 rep members from the Northeast, 24 federal lawmakers from Kano, and a former governor of Sokoto State, Senator Aminu Tambuwal. The memo suspending the debate, dated November 30, 2024, stated that the rescheduling was due to the need for further and pitted in due course. Meanwhile, there is a leaked video of a closed-door session of the lower chamber, which showed the Northeast lawmakers' intense debates against the tax reform bills. The lawmakers argue that the bills would drag the North backwards and also affect other regions, which includes the Southeast, Southwest, and Southwestern states like Oyo, Oshu, Ekiti, and Ondo. Now, giving details of what transpired during the closed-door session, a lawmaker from the Northwest stated that, as representatives of the people, we have resolved to continue our consultation on the matter. Things degenerated almost to a point of rebellion against the Deputy Speaker, Benjamin Kalu, who presided over the executive session. So according to the lawmaker, he said, from what I can deduce, the governors of the North are not yet convinced about the arguments in favor of the bills. The bills are against the interest of the North, and that is why we are saying, if you think this is not the case, give us more time to consult our people. So in other words, the presidency is saying that the tax reform bill does not have any ulterior motive, and that the North will actually benefit from it, but the North does not believe it. Now, the question is, where will the proper education come from? I think this evening by 7 p.m., there's going to be a town hall meeting. It's going to be aired on Channels Television. And I think everyone will actually plug on to that particular channel, where the Federal Inland Revenue Service will actually be, spearheading this conversation. And the conversation will be about the tax reform bill, what it entails, what it means, a stipulated breakdown of what that particular tax reform bill intends to achieve. And then all of this conspiracy theories, all of the misinformation, all of the, unverified interpretation of that particular bill will be confirmed this evening. It's going to be a town hall meeting, and I think it's vital that this conversation is had. The orientation will be needed so everybody understands how the long-term situation of this bill is going to be. But there is a problem. In as much as the bill intends to help everyone or intends to help every region based on what the tax reform bill is stipulating, Nigerians don't trust anything this administration comes up with. I think that's a problem. There's a problem with transparency. There's a problem with accountability. There's a problem with trust. So whenever the government comes up with policies like this, Nigerians just see it as you wanting to strangulate them. They don't trust anything. For example, in May 29, 2023, when during the inauguration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and he said fuel subsidy is gone. Now, remember that during the campaign, the president has said that let the poor breathe. You recall that we're going through the cash crunch and cash currency redesign at the time. President Tinubu had actually implored former President Muhammadu Buhari to please let the poor breathe. You implementing this reform now is strangulating the people. So there was an expectation that the president, with the way he ruled Lagos State, that he had the modus operandi. He understood the semantics to restraining the already fragile economic situation that we found ourselves in. And it was quite surprising when he came on board, and it seemed to be like there were inconsistencies with what he says and what is actually in play. That's the major problem. If you had heard the World News at 12, where you had Professor Yusuf talk about it, he said there is nothing wrong with the tax reform bill, actually. His own problem is with the fact that this administration does not communicate. There is a major divide between this administration and the people. So the president has a lot of communication aides. The governors have aides who to speak on their behalf, but they are not actually interpreting the concept of the government to the people. And that's the problem. Rather, what you will see is some of these government aides having to exacerbate the already fragile ethnic situation in the country, or possibly more of propaganda. And that's where the major problem actually falls in. So for the senior special assistant to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on media and publicity, Temitope Ajayi, he dismissed the claim that a tax reform bill was rushed to the National Assembly for an ulterior motive. Ajayi actually said that the Presidential Committee on Tax and Fiscal Reform, headed by Taiwo Oyedele, consulted with all stakeholders across the country and all sectors before submitting the tax reform report. Now, Ajayi said that it will be disingenuous to downgrade the efforts of the committee and other stakeholders who put in much work to birth the tax reform draft. He further warned against lingering arguments on the bill, stating that comparing it with the petroleum industry bill would not be good for the country's economic growth. Well, apparently, as it stands now, we're waiting to see how this whole thing will turn out. Educational purposes are already on, orientation purposes are already on, so that Nigerians know what the tax reform bill is all about and those who will benefit from it, and what the long-term effect of the tax reform bill will be across all sectors of Nigeria's political landscape or socio-economic landscape. Now, in that particular regard, like I said, a conversation will be had about that later this evening, so we can all understand what exactly is going on in that respect. Another conversation that actually took sway in the course of the week is concerning the declaration of Biafra. I'm sure a lot of us have actually heard that if you've been following events on social media and all the back and forth concerning the supposed 40 states of Biafra as declared. Now, here is the situation with that, because a lot of people don't trust that process. Some people say that is, according to IPOP, they call it a supposed idiosyncrasy, right? They say that the persons who are involved, who are not representing the real concept of the Biafran struggle, and they are taking advantage of brainwashed Southeasterners who are supposedly plugged into the dream of achieving Biafra anytime soon. Of course, they use the opportunity to also criticize the declaration of a second Biafra independence by Simon Ekpa's faction in Finland. You know that Simon Ekpa is in custody, right? So we already know how that is going on with that. Now, the spokesperson dismissed the event as idiocy exhibited by a group of nincompoops. He described it as a scam intended to undermine the legitimate Biafran struggle. IPOP distanced itself from the Finland declaration, emphasizing that only the 1967 Biafran proclamation by late Dim Chukwuemeka Ojukwu holds legitimacy. Now, there are a lot of back and forth as to that particular conversation, and I'm going to read a particular excerpt, because the reason why I'm going to read it is when it's time for us to take phone calls, maybe we can now try to see how we can digest this thing and have a proper perspective or interpretation to how a lot of Nigerians see this. The recent declaration, right, in Finland has actually sparked widespread criticism and raised questions about the mental health implications of such movements. Critics argue that the event, allegedly led by individuals facing serious charges, which include terrorism in Finland, highlights the dangers of brainwashing and manipulation within certain factions of the pro-Biafra movement. A prominent critic described the declaration as a charade orchestrated by organizers and attendees who urgently require detoxification from brainwashing and mental abuse. The irony, according to observers based on this particular report, is that the declaration was conducted by a self-proclaimed chief of staff, in quote, based on what this critic is saying here. I'm reading out what a renowned critic is actually saying. Reportedly, according to him, a mental health nurse skilled in manipulation tactic. I'm heading somewhere. I need you to be patient so we can logically, not sentimentally. A lot of people apply sentiment to this. We can logically look into this, specifically from those in the Southeast region. We can logically look into this and not attach sentiment. A lot of you are so sentimental that anybody who talks about it, rather than having to educate, you just insult. Let's logically look into it. The critic lamented the toll this movement has taken on Igbos, citing the death, destruction and economic disruption caused by actions such as the enforced sit-at-home orders. These measures, they argue, have done more harm than good, which has weakened the very community they claim to represent. Now, a lot of people say that a true Biafra should be pursued through negotiations, peaceful resolutions and referendums, which of course was led by capable and selfless leaders. The declaration, which saw some view as an act of desperation, has been met with skepticism by many who question its legitimacy and motives. Critics are calling for greater discernment amongst Igbos to avoid falling victim to manipulation and to focus on building a movement that genuinely serves the interests of the people. Now, this particular write-up actually clarifies the angle through which a couple of people have actually interpreted the recent declaration of Biafra in Finland. 40 states were actually called out in that particular declaration, and a lot of critics who are of an opinion that it's not possible for you to be declaring a state of a country in another man's country when you have not been able to revitalize your own economy here back home. Let's go back in time. The situation that has occurred specifically with the Southeast since the Biafran War has caused a serious wound in the hearts of those who reside in the Southeast. Others have alleged that all the parties involved in that particular civil war have not yet died. They are still very much alive. And that they feel that the recent, amalgamation, the isolation, the marginalization, and the supposed economic blockade of the southeastern region are deliberately perpetrated by these individuals so that, number one, the southeast region, which was one of the most populous, industrious region in Nigeria precisely before the Civil War, will no longer resonate and not resuscitate its economic value. Others believe that it has been so conscripted to a point that there is no way through which international investment can come into the Southeast because of the way the region has been isolated, deliberately, according to them, by the Nigerian government. Others also feel that the fight for Biafra is a good one, but that over time the fight has been ongoing. Who are those who have lost in that struggle? It is the Southeasterners. The Igbos are the ones who have actually lost so much. They've actually sacrificed so much, and at the end of the day, that beautiful Ethiopian or utopian dream which the Southeasterners are expecting and waiting on for so long has not been realized. Instead, it's always bloodshed or one situation or the other which has, deteriorated their spirit. Some say that regardless of how the Biafrans are treated or the Southeasterners are treated, the sun, the beam of Biafra, this fact that realization will come through or come forth at any point in time, in any time in future, is the only thing that needs them to survive. Whatever it takes, whenever it takes, it may not even come in their own generation, but they believe that it will actually manifest itself. But there's a big question in this whole thing. The big question is faceless. Why is it faceless? You have the time of Uwazurike, Nnamdi Kanu. You now have Simon Ekpa. A lot of people feel these individuals took the dream of the Biafran people to their advantage, to either maliciously finance themselves to the detriment of those people, hoping that, this dream is achieved. A couple of people feel they bought into this dream in a very gullible manner. Others are in between. They don't care however way it goes, so long as they are surviving. But if you look at the current state of the Southeast, if you look at the current state of the Nigerian government towards its policy implementation, economic, proposed blueprint for the Southeast, it begs the question, is the problem leadership in the Southeast, or is the problem the Southeasterners themselves? Recently, you've been following up on social media, you'd have seen a lot of ethnic baiting against the Igbos, where you hear them say, you know what, you always say Lagos is no man's land. You need to leave this place. We don't want you here anymore. Go to your place, go to your state, go to your region. Why don't you develop your region? Others feel that with the way the whole Biafran tirade or journey has been, it's now become a joke. So you hear some other ethnic groups throw slurs and call them names because they have supposedly ridiculed the entire concept of Biafra. But how do will I say, revamp the mindset of a lot of people concerning Biafra? And what is the way to go about it, specifically with the current administration? Is it through the current agitation or bloodshed going on in the Southeast? Is it through peaceful negotiation? Is it through proper dialogue? And who are the actors that need to be invited in this? The international community is part of the deadlock in that question, in that phrase, Biafra, or are they also persons that need to be summoned to be involved in the conversation for the actualization of this Biafran dream? When will the utopia that the Southeasterners are expecting to realize, when will it come forth? Only the privileged persons at this point in time can maybe see something in this whole thing. But those who are not privileged, what then happens? They are still in the landlocked, deserted Southeast region. So what happens to them while those in Finland are celebrating and declaring? Remember, today is December 2, and that they're expecting to supposedly declare the whole Biafran freedom situation. So the question now is, how do we move on from here? And how do we cope with this? Would you agree with what this critic is saying, that a lot of people who are into this whole Biafran dream are brainwashed? Would you believe that they're also brainwashed? Do you think that they are not being realistic? What is a measure through which the agitation of those in the Southeast can be realized? Remember that we already have present challenges as well. Who are those that needs to be consulted for the conversation to be heard? And when will that apology be given? Because a lot of Southeasterners still feel grieved and pained since the civil war, that nobody has addressed how that took place, the betrayal, the lack of trust, and the hurt, and the fact that more than 3 million Nigerians in the Southeast were killed for a cause that up till now we don't even understand how it came about. We'll take a very short break, and then when we come back, of course, we'll be opening the phone lines, and then of course you'll be part of the conversation. You can call in and tell us what you think based on the topics that I've been able to, explain here. So just stay with us.
You need to find it so that you can live a life of impact.
It's something new on Voice of the People, 90.3 FM, Lagos.
Today is your day of freedom. Today is your day of deliverance.
It's Moving Forward with Pastor Sarah, a 15-minute teaching of God's Word by Pastor Sarah Omako, Senior Pastor, Family Worship Center. The world is filled with bad news, fear, and anxiety. But God's timeless word brings good news of hope and victory.
If God says you can, you can. If God says you can move, you can move. If God says you will make it, you will make it. Nobody can stop you.
Join Pastor Sarah Omako on Voice of the People, 90.3 FM, Lagos, and learn how to win in life using God's word every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 9:15 p.m. Moving Forward with Pastor Sarah on this station.
The name is Prophet Dr. Samson Ayorente of Webic Worldwide, and every Mondays 9 to 10 p.m. get ready on Voice of the People 90.3 FM to receive your breakthrough, signs and wonder I'll see you and I'll receive your phone in. Be there.
You have shown me so much mercy, much more than I.
This is your number one radio station at BOP 90.3 FM.
All right, thank you for staying with us. Welcome back. This is Still Matters on Voice of the People 90.3 FM. My name is Esther Anwachuku. Before we went on that particular break, I'm sure you heard me reel out some of the conversations here. I talked about the tax reform bill and the fact that a debate on that has been suspended. I also highlighted to you that the Nigerian government had to explain that they did not rush the tax reform bill for unscrupulous or whatever motive. It was basically for the motive of, economic development and ensuring that the status quo is garnered across all the regions of the Federation. I also highlighted to you that a town hall meeting is being organized today by 7 p.m. to speak more on the tax reform bill. Also, I mentioned the Biafra declaration in Finland, where about 40 states were declared, and a couple of people are saying we're not part of this movement. Why are you including us? Igala, Edo, and all of that said they are not part of this Biafran dream. Also, a couple of people feel that the concept Biafra now has been so adulterated that something that is a common hope of the Southeasterner at some point, anytime, any soon, has become so a topic of ridicule, or they actually use it to ridicule it because of the way it's been done or because of the way the movement is being organized by certain persons. Others feel that supporters of this dream, specifically followers of Simon Ekpa, are brainwashed or deluded. So we want to know, what do you think about it? The number to call is 0700 903 903 903, and the WhatsApp number, you can send a message there, or you can actually call the WhatsApp number to 0817 1756 338, 0817 1756 338. That's the WhatsApp number. And then you can also call 0700 903 903 903. This is Matters on Voice of the People 90.3 FM. All right, good afternoon. Welcome to Matters. Name and location, please. Hello. Good afternoon. Hello. Hello. Hello.
Hello. Good afternoon, Ekpa.
Yes. Good afternoon,
Hello.
sir. How are you?
How are you? Fine. And how new month?
Happy New Month to you. What's your name, please?
I will be something. Nama this Sonny calling from Ajalaba.
All right, sir. Please go ahead.
Okay. Ekpa, I want to ask you something. Why? Jude, we know they hear about Jude. Jude is already come up for this VOPFM.
No, he hasn't. Jude was here this morning. Didn't you listen to the... Okay, let's just say he's shipped. He's no longer handling matters. Not that he has left. So he's been conscripted to the early morning bell. So you can join Jude on Front Page Review from 7 o'clock to 8:30 a.m. every day of the week.
Okay.
Yes.
What I don't because I don't hear the voice. That's why I ask.
Okay.
Esther, I want to just I'm calling to my name. My name is Mazi Soni, calling from Jalaba.
Okay.
So instead of the Biafra agitation, Eastern region, because of if you know that if the Nigerian people doing us as everybody, at least since 1967 to now, they just don't want Igbo. At least let us, if we want Nigeria, let us to become a one Nigeria. But the Nigerian people are not want us to be like that. They want to just to be a frustration. So that's why people are beginning to find their own ways. If you look at all those cases now, you know that it's even not calculating it from 1967 to now. How many years? They don't want to be able to be part of Nigeria. And the imagination is too much. See the suffering, killing our people, doing all things. So I'm not blaming the Simon Ekpa and the Nnamdi Kanu and the Ojukwu. Because if you say that if you have also let us at least one Nigeria, I myself are talking to you, I'm on Lagos. I'm doing business in Lagos. But why did these Nigerian people, they don't want to patronize with Igbo people? But the Igbo people are developing Nigeria, developing everywhere. Lagos, Kaduna, Zaria, everywhere in Nigeria. But they're just intimidating us, killing our people.
All right, thank you for calling. Thank you. You've exceeded 1 minute. All right, so we can actually take more calls. All right, thank you for calling. 0700 903 903 903 0700 903 903 903. So the question is this: do you think that the concept, the angle through which this caller is calling from, because he's not the only person that has that kind of mindset, so what is the cause of this mindset, and how will this mindset be addressed specifically from the rest of the other regions or from the federal government? How will this be addressed? That's it. Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to Matters. How are you?
Fine, Esther, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Ben. How are you?
Okay.
Happy New Month.
Yes, my sister. I've listened to you.
All
Welcome
right.
back.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Welcome back.
Go ahead, Ben.
Hello?
I can hear you. Go ahead.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, I can hear you, sir. Go ahead. Okay.
All right. 2023, Nigerians were ready for Igbo president. That is my annoyance. 2023, Nigerians were ready for Igbo president. And Nigerians actually came out and voted for P2B. They won in North Central. They do people, South, Igbos, even this Lagos, and so many other places in the North. They voted for P2B. How things, they turn things around. I do not like it, though. Because Obasanjo is a Yoruba man. He ruled for 8 years. Seen by the vice president, 8 years. Why is it now? They say that power is not given in Alaka, that they will contest it, that no, but the power is not given, you must contest. And he will be contested. He contested very well. He campaigned very well. And he got a lot of support from the North, from the South. It's the first time the North voted to the Southern. Esther, concerning this thing, tax reform, let me tell you, I'm afraid of this tax reform. Hello?
Okay, I can hear you.
Hello?
Ben, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Hello?
All right, Ben, I think you have a situation with your network. I can hear you, but you seem not to hear me, or you think I cannot hear you. But I think I've been able to get the main gist of what you're saying. 0700 903 903 903. That is the number to call, 0700 903 903 903. And you can send WhatsApp messages on 0817 1756 338. Hello, good afternoon. Kindly turn down the volume of your listening device. If you're radio, if you call and you're listening to the radio and the feedback is on, I'm going to call to you off. 0700 903 903 903. Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to Matters. How are you? All right, we lost that connection. 0700 903 903 903. And the WhatsApp number is 0817 1756 338. Now, here is what a lot of people think. The Eastern Corridor stretches from the right Atlantic coast to the northeast of Nigeria. The area was economically significant, active, and the main economic corridor before the Civil War. It also contributed greatly to the economy before oil, with bustling seaports, an international airport, and a railway system. Now, anyone who tells states in the Eastern Corridor to create jobs and improve their tax contribution to the federal government, according to them, may not be easy because the Eastern Corridor has been blocked economically, with oil and gas allocations driving the economy, not tax revenue. So that's the thing. A lot of people feel that that's the situation with the southeastern states. So if that place economically is landlocked, how do the people there, how do they prosper? How do they grow? Hello, good afternoon. Hello, good afternoon. Please do call back 0700 903 903 903. I hope we're not having a network situation. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello.
Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to Matters. Are you on the road? I can hear you. Good afternoon.
Hello.
All right. Please kindly call back 0700 903 903 903. I don't know if the network is here, if it's you calling, but please, when you call, trust me, go ahead and say what you want to say. All right? Go ahead and say what you want to say. 0700 903 903 903. And the WhatsApp number is 0817 1756 338. So let me take some messages while your calls keep coming in. All right. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon, Esther.
Good afternoon, ma. Name and location, please.
Hello, good afternoon.
I can hear you. Go ahead. Name and location.
Are you hearing me?
All right. I think there's a situation with the network. So here is the thing. When you call, you think I'm not hearing you. I can hear you. Just go ahead and talk. If you're listening to me now, when you call, you may not hear me. I don't know what the problem is. But just go ahead, introduce yourself and say what you have to say. Okay? Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Esther Watuku.
How are you, Peter?
Thank you. My name is Peter Usifo. I'm calling from Abana, Kotum. Once more, Esther, and also to those people listening to us now, I'm saying that I'm wishing people happy new month.
Same to you.
And all of us that have seen the beginning of this month, December 2024, we also see the end of this year and enter 2025 with good health, long life, and prosperity in Jesus' name.
Amen.
Okay, thank you very much. We should accept. Now, I believe, in my own opinion, that Biafra, the issue of Biafra and IPOB is just a piece of the policy. It is not necessary. In fact, as far as I'm concerned, Biafra died after the end of the Civil War between 1967 and 1970.
You can't say it died. This is what people intend to achieve and hope for. You can't say Biafra died. You can't generalize like that, Peter. Please.
Okay. Yeah, Biafra of the mind is still there.
So don't say died.
Biafra, the physical Biafra died when Ojukwu said that you cannot fight civil war twice in any country for you to succeed. That he has left the issue of Biafra. And when Nnamdi Kanu picked it up, I saw it as a mere propaganda. And that is what is keeping on detention, which I believe is unnecessary at the moment. But it's not necessary when it talks about the cloning of the former president, Buhari. It's very unfortunate. You should also remember the North Side dichotomy and the leadership of the North. So, for IPOB members to now deny Simon Eder, it's also unfortunate. And for them to label him, that is the one that brought the unknown government to the South, it's also unfortunate. You understand? Because all of them have been together. Simon Eder, IPOB, and Nnamdi Kanu. So I don't see the reason why they want to classify Simon Eder just because they want to release Nnamdi Kanu from detention, as they are thinking anyway, because they want Nnamdi Kanu to be the biblical Barnabas, while Simon Eder should remain crucified as Jesus Christ as it was. Now that is that. Now coming to the tax reform bill, I believe that it is very good. And then the chairman of this tax reform committee should do better. Oladele Toyin should do better to convince the Northerners that it is not only the bad issue that he is thinking about. Because the Northerners are believing that once this tax reform bill becomes
2 minutes. You've taken 2 minutes. All right. Thank you for calling. 0700 903 903 903. That's the number to call. 0700 903 903 903. And the WhatsApp number is 0817 1756 338. Hello. Good afternoon. Hello. Oh, we've lost that connection. All right, can we call back? Let me read some messages here. Good afternoon. Summarily, the new tax bill is to address why Lagos and Rivers contribute most to tax revenue, but receive lower share than most northern states that ban the thriving or the tax base or space. This argument, being unconstitutional, should be thrown out quickly because it will require the thrashing of the extant constitution and come up with a brand new Nigeria constitution and no any amendment of the constitution to be able to implement the tax bill if carelessly or crookedly passed. Therefore, Nigerians should resist it hastily. The Southwest are just seeking readjustment of schemes of resource sharing, not necessarily fairness, equity, and justice, but to favor them the most. They have seen President Tinubu as an opportunity and have charged him to implement these senile plans or be declared a persona non grata after tenure, or do them and come home as their sage and deity. The same charge was given former President Olusegun Obasanjo, who chose wisely and today remains a heroic patriot. The people should not look at those low-hanging fruits, as minimum wage earners should not pay payee. They used to garnish the tax bill to pull the wool over their eyes. As Teach in Time saves 9. Tochukwu Adiele Thompson from Obanikoro. All right, Tochukwu, good afternoon. And thank you for that. Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to Matters. I don't know what's going on. Once the call comes in, it just cuts off. So you can call the WhatsApp line 0817 1756 338. You can actually call on WhatsApp and then we can hear you from there. I don't know what is wrong with the normal call. Once you just call in, it goes off. I can't pick it. It just comes in and then trips off. 0700 903 903 903. That's the number to call. 0700 903 903 903. Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to Matters. How are you? What is going on? Oh, engineer, I need your help. Once the call comes and it just trips off, I don't know what the problem is. Okay, or send WhatsApp messages so I can read out your WhatsApp messages, because once the call comes in, it just trips off. 0700 903 903 903, and you can actually call the WhatsApp number 0817 1756 338. Okay, or you send a WhatsApp message on 0817 1756 338. Hello. All right, so I need a technical team to come assist me. I don't know why I cannot. The calls come in, but then it trips off. I don't know if it is network. I don't know from what end, but I do hope the technical team can actually assist in that regard. In the meantime, while I'm waiting for the technical team to help in that regard, you can actually call the WhatsApp number. Hello. Okay, officially something's wrong. I don't know what's going on. The call keeps tripping off. So please call the WhatsApp number 0817 1756 338. 0817 1756 338. That's the WhatsApp number to call. All right. And that way we can actually hear what you have to say. Hello.
Hello, Esther Wachuku.
Good afternoon. How are you?
Fine, thank you. This is Glory.
All right, Glory. What's your location?
This is my first time calling.
Oh wow, Glory, welcome. Thank you for joining VOP and thank you for calling in. Go ahead, please.
Thank you. Yes, you see the issue of this Nigeria. The issue of this Nigeria after everybody.
Sorry.
Yes. The issue of this Nigeria after everybody. Everybody is suffering. Instead of this government to do the necessary things, they are just there saying what is not even on point. May God help us.
Amen. Amen. Thank you very much, Glory, for calling. All right, bye. 0700 903 903 903. That's the number to call. All right. So I think I've been able to get a trick for this call. I think the situation is with the audio cord. So I'm going to have to place you on speaker and place it on my microphone. I think that works. So you can call the number 0700 903 903 903. Hello, good afternoon. Hello. All right, we've lost that call. 0700 903 903 903. That's the number to call. You can also call the WhatsApp number 0817 1756 338 or send a WhatsApp message 0817 1756 338. This person says, good afternoon, Sister Choma. It's not Choma, it's Esther Machuku. It's so unfortunate that you still give Peter Osifo opportunity to talk his nonsense all the time. All right, no wahala. Well, Peter Osifo is a human being too, so you can actually call, okay? All right, 0700 903 903 903. That's the number to call, 0700 903 903 903. Hello, good afternoon. Okay, so I thought I got the trick, but it has started again. So it's tripping off now. So call the WhatsApp number 081 717 56338. 081 717 56338. Call the WhatsApp number or send a WhatsApp message there, okay? Because the other call keeps coming in and then just trips off. I don't know if it's the network. So let me read out some of your messages. Who is manipulating who? The real people who are brainwashed are those who refuse to understand that there are no written rules for agitation. How is it hard for people to learn and understand that when people don't want to be part of an arrangement, you can't force them? The statement you read of an unscrupulous critic typing inanity without making any point other than the cacophony. Hello, good afternoon. Eh? Talo. Good afternoon. Hello. 0700. Thank you. 0700 903 903 903. That's the number to call. 0700 903 903 903. All right. You can actually send your message on 0817 1756 338. 0817 1756 338. Okay. And obviously, you can call the WhatsApp number as well. So I was reading. Yes, I said the statement you read on an unscrupulous critic typing inanity without making any point other than the cacophony of his or his peers. It's pathetic and sickening that characters who have a different view or those pro-Biafrans in Finland tend to see themselves as smart and wiser than all. Are the pro-Biafrans not adults of different professions, lawyers, doctors, engineers, etc.? Would you run out of the theater if you're to be operated by one of these pro-Biafra people who are good at their job because of unscrupulous views? If that gathering was conducted in Nigeria, wouldn't the Nigerian government agents invade the building to paint the scene red, to once again show Nigeria is far from civil than Finland for the feeling agitations? Well, Nine's point of view. All right, my name is Ife from Irawo. In many occasions, anything that the North... Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Esther. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. Name and location, please.
Yeah, I'm calling from Oshediazi. My name is JJ.
JJ.
Yes.
JJ Okocha. All right,
Yeah.
JJ, please go ahead.
I'm an ardent listener to this station.
Thank you very much.
To the things that you have listed. If picking somebody for how many years now, the person may not have that mind to stay with you again. That is the issue between Nigeria and the Biafran people. How can you continue to cheat somebody for many years? Last year somebody won an election. They turned it upside down. And they wonder, and when the people that won the election come on board, look at the appointment. And they want somebody to keep, hoping on that kind of situation. Why not do the right thing and see whether those people that are agitating, whether they will continue to agitate? You cannot slap me and say I should not cry. As I'm talking to you now, I'm very furious. They cannot continue to be doing this thing in Nigeria. They cannot continue to be doing this thing in Nigeria and tell somebody not to keep quiet.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for calling, okay? All right. Thank you for calling. 0700 903 903 903. That's the number. And the WhatsApp number is 0817-1756-338. This person says, my name is Ife from Irawa. In many occasions, anything that the North rejects, it doesn't benefit them. The tax reform should go ahead for implementation as soon as possible, in my opinion. I was born in the North and schooled there throughout. They love it free down there. God bless Nigeria. God bless VOP. Thank you, Ife. Good afternoon, Esther. Much gift from Water area. My opinion is that Nigeria should give an Igbo man an opportunity to rule Nigeria even for 1 tenure. Other ethnic groups have ruled and the economy is getting bad instead of better. Let Igbo man try. Thank you. Please, I want to know from you if Peter Osifo has a job. If he has, he must be suffering from some mental health. My perception about him, Eugene Mary Sherry. Eugene, Peter has a right to air his views. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon, sir. Name and location, please.
My name is Ebube.
Ebube.
I'm calling from Osho.
All right,
Yes.
Mr. Ebube, go ahead, please.
You see, it's unfortunate that we, the Igbos, we don't hear. The people have said this before now, that we should go home and develop our place. That time will come when they will begin to pursue us. And this is it. If we can hear and begin to go home, they will know that we are now serious to go. You see, Israel, this is how it started. They decided to be doing it themselves before they are on their own. You see how far they've gone. That is what we need now.
Okay.
We need to go home and start doing it on ourselves. Let's forget them. Let's forget Nigeria. Let them begin to do whatever they like.
All right.
Then at the end, we will see.
All right. Thank you for
very much.
calling. All right. 0700-903-903-903. Hello, Esther Wachiku. Why can't you pick my calls? Tony from Chicago. Tony, I can see your call, but I can't pick it on WhatsApp. I don't know. This is it. Okay, let me try. In call. Hello, Tony. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Thank God. Wow. Tony, good afternoon.
The man from here.
Yes, go ahead, please. I'm so sorry. I'm just able to
No problem. No problem.
Okay, good.
Yes, I want to make I didn't want to call, but I called because of what so for what thing.
Mm-hmm.
And there's somebody remind you that they should not be when somebody is giving information on international radio system, it should be accurate. Know what he's saying about. You don't allow the person to give false information to the audience or people listening. That's why sometimes the man does something that he doesn't know about. After a man wake up and say Biafra is there.
I was able to correct him on that. I corrected him that, and I
Yeah,
told him not to
every
make
Igbo
that
man is a
statement.
Biafra. Every man is, we have a ideology, and then the Kano is not the end of the Biafra ideology. Well, nobody say that, but we have to do it rightly and not support of killing people or get to a war, but let it can be done gradually. The Igbo people have been suffering since after the war. We have been suffering in the country called Nigeria. So you cannot keep us beating us and say we cannot have a man to say lament to the world what's going on.
Okay.
Please, Nnamdi Kanu and the Samuel Ekpa was not in the same IPOB.
Okay.
For information, Nnamdi Kanu was doing his IPOB while Samuel Ekpa was doing his Biafra agitation.
All right.
Nnamdi Kanu only recognized Samuel Ekpa. It was end part of his being arrested. It was recognized him and asked people they should now follow him.
All right.
Samuel Ekpa is never a member of IPOB. I keep saying that. He's never I'm a member of IPOB here in America.
Okay, but Samuel Ekpa said in court that he's just an ordinary member of IPOB. He said
He's
it.
not a member of IPOB. Samuel Ekpa is never IPOB.
So why did he not say he's a member? He has distanced himself from it on several occasions, and then in court he said he was an ordinary member. When he was asked about being the prime minister, he said, and that was just a content creation thing. So what is going on?
He's trying to find his own way to get it out of here. Everybody knows he's not a content creator. We know that. We know he's not a content creator. He's never a content creator. He declared himself Biafra prime minister in exile. That's what he said.
You say he declared himself? Apparently he was voted for. He said
he was on air.
Okay.
He was the one that declared himself Biafra. I'm not in support of him. IPOB is not very support of it. That's why IPOB is trying to claim from him We don't want to do our own part of what is doing. Is that our own way? We have our own way. Our city is only one, not Kano. That's our own leader.
All right,
Not
thank
member,
you.
please.
Let me take all the
Thank
calls.
you.
All right. Hello, good afternoon. How are you? Hello? Oh, we've lost that connection. Kindly call back. Let me read your messages. Esther, good afternoon. As Jesus started with prayer and ended with prayer, Buhari started with UK hospital and ended with UK hospital. Tinubu started with lies and he'll end with lies. That's my contribution. Anna Paul from Coca. Anna Paul, just like that. Kilo day, be coming down. 0700 903 903 903. Hello, good afternoon. How are you? Hello? All right, kindly send messages to the WhatsApp, okay? I don't know, we're having a call drop. It just comes in and drops. Good afternoon, Esther. Your caller can talk outside the radio station, but when he was invited to your studio, he couldn't talk. He has a right to his opinion, but let him always talk with verified facts. Kenneth from NNPC Ejigbo, Lagos. All right, Kenneth. Good afternoon, Esther. Please read my message. I'm reading your messages. I'm hungry with my children and I have disability. Please, VOP family, help Mr. Paulinus from Asola. Okay? The Paulinus will call you after the program. All right? 0700 903.
Stella.
All right, Stella, what's your location, please?
Stella.
All right, Stella, what's your location, please?
I'm calling from Bariga.
All right, Stella from Bariga, go ahead.
The thing there is just that this country of its own, I don't even understand.
Okay.
It's just like it's a double face.
It's just like it's a double what? Hello?
They're just confused. That's all I have to think.
Stella. 0700 903 903 903. That's the number to call. 0700 903 903 903. If you call and you can't hear me, go ahead and speak. But unfortunately, if it drops, I sincerely do apologize for that. Hello, good afternoon. Okay, call drop. 0700 903 903 903. This call is coming in from WhatsApp. Wow. Okay. Hello, good afternoon. Can you hear me? Yes, good afternoon. What's your name and location, please?
Okay, this is Renali calling from Spain.
Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. That's I want to go. Let me just start with tax reform.
Okay.
You know, I mean, the northern should try and let Nigeria be.
Okay.
They should try and be up and doing. They can't depend on this Babian every time. They want to forcing everybody to be to depend on that. Instead of this thing fighting for this thing, let them just fight for this constitutional review, so that every state we can just control their anything they just at least take care of themselves. Not every time we take care of this forcing other this thing. That is why most of the time that is why people just they say that they want to separate from Nigeria, because some sort of people are taking up backward. They should protest. They should just say this on this constitutional review is what I expect them to do. So that every state, and this thing will cost. You see, the three things. This thing will just give a power to state. Okay. You see, insecurity will stop, which I know there will be this state security, local security, which the chief of this IG of police is fighting against. When they went for meeting, Abacha was in support. Jonathan was in support. He said that no, just for him to be up, to be leader, maybe let's say the commander. This thing will corner all this thing, and all this problem of hating each other. This thing will stop it, because when every state just control their economy, they will be able to develop this thing and they create airports, create seaport. If like a seaport in all this other seaport will just start working. Even Anambra can go to the extent of developing in Niger, so that all people will just live and you see everybody have respect. There will be all this trade every time. You see, that is one thing they should push for this thing, so that every state will just, like in this Europe, that is what Europe is like, heaven and earth. Every state control their economy, they know how to manage it. The federal government. Why every time they want also everybody to depend on this Babian law? You see, on this please, let me round up on this the one of IPOP. I will tell people that back. Because the problem of IPOP and this Simon Ekpa was when Nnamdi was arrested. The lawyer said this Simon Ekpa should be controlling the Radio Biafra. And these people were, they said this guy is not their member. That is why they did not let Simon Ekpa to be controlling this, because they said he's not their member. IPOP. That is why they did not let him control that thing. That is where the problem came. You see, that is why every time you see the sit at home, every time they say sit at home, and this guy will give 1 week sit at home. The IPOP will just say no, they are not the one like she issued the statement. The people just say, even to the extent they went to the extent of accusing the government, they say they are the one sponsoring Simon Ekpa. But every time they bring this issue as if they do not have the first time they are hearing this thing. For right from time, they have not they stand themselves from Simon Ekpa because it's not their member. That is why the problem came. But every time they keep repeating as if this thing, and you just some people will just call. That is why it get me upset when some people come that have no idea of how how this is started.
Right, thank you.
My sister, let me let others talk. Okay,
Thanks.
Have a great day.
All right, you too. All right. Hello. Good afternoon. Welcome to Matters. How are you?
Hello.
Yes. Hello. Good afternoon. Name and location, please.
My name is Mercy. I'm living at Olodia, Papa.
All right, Mercy. Please go ahead.
Okay. The question goes like this. What is wrong with Peter Sofa? Tackling Biafra and tackling Nnamdi Kanu. In the morning, he says so. This afternoon, he repeats it. What is the matter with him? Is someone your brother or his father? Why did he hate Nigeria, hate Biafra? Because most of he said Biafra have already died since 2017. It's bad. If you hate people, don't let people know that you hate the person.
All right, thank you.
So they reduce.
Thank you, Mercy. Thank you for calling.
What's the problem?
Thank you for calling. All right. 0700 903 903 903. That's the number to call. Let me read some of your messages. Good afternoon, Esther. The reason Igbo people need Biafra is to be able to speak against any injustice towards their people, to stand against any leader in federal and not feel guilty. If Igbo speak now, they will be threatened to leave any state that is not the Southeast, which have been developed with tax from the majority of Igbo people. Please, we need referendum, a sincere one that will not be like the election of 2023. Thanks. This is Michael from Surulere. All right, Michael, well done. Good afternoon. Welcome to Matters. How are you? All right, drop call. You can call the WhatsApp number 0817 1756 338. 0817 1756 338. That's the WhatsApp number that you can actually call. Hello, good afternoon. Can you hear me? All right, please kindly call back 0700 903 903 903. Good afternoon. Hello. Okay, that call dropped. You can send your messages on WhatsApp as well. 0817 1756 338. So the call comes in and drops. I think it just happens systematically. I think it's a network situation. Right? Let me read out some of your messages right now. This person says, good afternoon, Esther. How do we move forward from here? How do we help ourselves out? How will the Biafran dream be realized? That's the question I'm asking myself. That's why I called the number for you to share that with me. Hello. All right, that call has dropped. So call the WhatsApp number 081 717 56338. Hello, good afternoon. Hello. All right, the call has dropped again. 081 717 56338. 0817 1756 338. That is the WhatsApp number. Hello, good afternoon. All right, I'm sorry, the call keeps dropping, so I think it's a network situation. Call the WhatsApp number 0817 1756 338. That's why I've been calling it. I think there's something wrong with the call, or rather with the network, because once the call comes in, it drops. So you can send your WhatsApp messages there as well as, call as well. Your calls coming in, but they keep dropping. All right, so call the WhatsApp number 0817 1756 338. 0817 1756 338. Hello, good afternoon. How are you? Call has dropped again. All right, 0817-1756-338. That is the number to call. We spoke on the tax reform, and I informed you that there's going to be a town hall meeting today to explain and give a proper breakdown of what the tax reform is all about and what it intends to achieve. That, of course, is aside. Also, there are critics who have talked about the declaration of Biafra in Finland. Today is December 2nd, and obviously that's the official date that had been announced since by someone. Hello, good afternoon. How are you? All right, that call has dropped. So, what do you think about what a lot of critics think about the convergence in Finland? Some people feel that most persons following this dream or following the Simon Ekpa faction are delusional, or they're deluded, or they've been brainwashed. Others say, what has the struggle achieved? All this while they've been following persons with it. Others feel that the Southeast is deliberately kept the way it is because supposedly, some people do not want it to rejuvenate, repopulate like it used to be a thriving economy before the Biafran War. Post-Biafran War, a lot has transpired in that region. It's been landlocked. Development has been quite stringent in there. And now we're having bedeviled insecurity. Education is not something taking prominence. And a lot of Nigerians in the Southeast specifically have gotten displaced. They had to migrate to other areas where they can be find that economic succor. Hello, good afternoon. Hello. All right. Turn down the volume of your listening device when you call. All right. Hello, good afternoon. Okay. 0700-903-903-903. That's the number to call. I think I'll take one or two calls and then I'm going to wrap up the conversation on matters this afternoon. So you can send your messages to 0817-1756-338. Okay. Hello, good afternoon. How are you? Hello?
Hello.
Yes, good afternoon. Turn down the volume of your radio. When you call, turn it down the volume of your radio. Hello.
Let me turn it down.
Hello?
Yeah. My name is Ugochukwu.
All right, Ugochukwu. What's your
calling
location?
from Ladipo Market.
All right. Ugochukwu, how is Ladipo Market?
Contribution is for this Nnamdi Kanu and the Simon Ekpa.
All right.
All these people that are saying that they should release Nnamdi Kanu and the prison Simon Ekpa, they don't understand the game. I'm not a member of IPOB.
Okay.
Nnamdi Kanu and Simon Ekpa, they belong to they belong to the same IPOP. They belong to the same IPOP. Even if you release Nnamdi Kanu today, Nnamdi Kanu will not be happy to see that Simon Ekpa is in prison.
Okay.
Let us tell ourselves the truth. They said Simon Ekpa started cleaning Igbo land. Who initiated the sit at home? Is it not Nnamdi Kanu? It wasn't Nnamdi Kanu that started the sit at home. Anytime that there is independent, that 1st October, they will order sit at home in Igbo land. Or another one is anytime, sometimes he will say that there will be a sit at home for the remembrance of those that were killed during the Biafra War. And by then, if you don't obey, you will collect vote according to Simon Ekpa. So are they not from the same group called IPOB? Yeah? So, if they want to settle this cause of Biafra, they know what they are agitating for: good governance, federal character,
Okay.
in selection of the service chiefs and other things.
Okay.
That's the only thing that can bring the end of the Biafra. Compared to a Southeast state like other regions in Nigeria. So, but telling people, Nigerians, Ohanaeze or whatever that exonerating themselves from Simon Ekpa, they know what they are doing. Because two of them, Simon Ekpa and Nnamdi Kanu, they work hard. If you release Nnamdi Kanu, they don't think Nnamdi Kanu will be happy that Simon Ekpa is in a prison.
Thank
he can
you.
never be happy.
You've spoken for 2 minutes now. Thank you so much. All right. Thank you for actually calling in. I think I'm going to read this message finally, and then we'll wrap up today. All right. Only war against indiscipline can clear all rubbish of this nation. A message from Prince Oyewusi Gideon Asaba Odortin local government, Osun State. Okay. Good afternoon, Esther. Act of selfishness and ignorance made the northern senators reject the tax reform presented by President Tinubu. You shouldn't eat from where you don't work. You don't want alcohol, but you want to share from the tax realized from it. Mr. Ogumbi from Idimu. Thank you very much, Mr. Ogumbi. To be honest with you, there's going to be a town hall meeting this evening, and I think all of this will be clarified. Okay. The problem is that if you kill Ekpa today, hundreds of Ekpas will arise. Destiny from Mushi. All right, Destiny. Good afternoon, Esther. On the tax reform bill, Esther, the bill will be passed by the Senate, and I think the northern governors need to wake up and get to work. AY from Mushi. All right, AY. Thank you so much for that message. Okay. Somebody, Olatunji from Iyanupaja says, the Igbo people should be given the freedom that is due to them. Nigeria is an open prison. Almost everyone is feeling the heat of Nigeria, especially in this present government. Let Biafra go. Let the people breathe. Olatunji from Iyanupaja. All right. For those of you who tried to call, and of course the call kept dropping, I sincerely do apologize. That should be the network or something, I don't know. And for some of you who sent your messages, and of course, actually, your calls were able to come through and being part of the program, thank you very much. And obviously, matters will continue tomorrow. My name is Esther Wachuku. Kindly subscribe to Estic Media on YouTube. That's ESTIQMEDIA. Up next is Fun House with Walkie Talkie and MC Chooks. Bye for now.